maybe this is going to sound harsh, but you don't actually want to be single. You're just waiting for another relationship. Because you say, I'm focusing on myself, I'm taking a break from dating, I want to be single for a while. But yet, you're still texting him, you're still entertaining people on the side, you're still on the apps, fantasizing about a relationship, emotionally waiting to be chosen again. That's not intentional singleness, that's emotional waiting. And honestly, that's exactly why you keep attracting the same kind of relationships over and over again. Because you never actually stopped long enough to heal, reflect, grow, and rebuild yourself outside of romantic validation. So let's talk about how to actually go on a singleness journey, but intentionally. Welcome to Amor de Luna. This was heavily inspired by my husband. One of the things that deeply attracted me to him was the fact that he intentionally stayed single for almost 2 years before we got together. Almost 2 years. And hearing him explain what that journey did for him mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and relationally completely changed the way I viewed singleness. And seeing how that same intentionality transformed women too, that's why I'm making this video. Because singleness should not just be, I'm lonely until I find somebody. It should be, I'm becoming the person that I need to become in order to attract the right person. So step number 1, know why you want to be single. Because if you don't know why you're doing something, the how and the what will never stick. You'll keep quitting, keep folding, keep entertaining distractions because you don't even know the real reason. So ask yourself, honestly, like be so for real, why do I want to be single right now? Maybe you keep attracting emotionally unavailable men. Maybe you keep entering toxic cycles. Maybe you lose yourself in relationships. You stop seeing your family and your friends. You become emotionally consumed by your partner. Maybe you struggle with trust issues and you bring trauma into your current relationships and sabotage that healthy connection. Maybe you have children and you want to be careful and intentional with who you bring around. These are all valid reasons, but you need clarity as to why you want to be single. So when the brain has emotional purpose attached to a goal, the prefrontal cortex, the decision-making part of your brain, is more likely to stay committed long-term. Meaning, purpose creates discipline. So know your why. This is why that's a saying in almost everything. Second thing, I need you to put a time on it. Because what if I meet somebody? You're not actually embracing singleness. You're emotionally waiting for another relationship. And that's very different. So choose a timeline. 3 months minimum, 6 months ideally, and a year if needed. That does not mean at the end of this timeline, I must be in a relationship. No. What it does mean, though, is that you're committing to yourself for a certain amount of time to grow yourself. And honestly, I recommend at least 6 months because habits take time to build identity. So 3 months to build a habit, right? You don't think about brushing your teeth anymore, you just do it. That's the level of internal change we're trying to create here. And guess what? You can always extend the timeline if you need to. That's exactly what my husband did. His singleness journey was a year, and then it extended another past his original goal because he genuinely loved who he was becoming and who he was as a single. Next step, remove distractions. Delete the apps. And I don't mean just don't check them out. I mean delete them. Stop entertaining random conversations, emotionally keeping people, responding to every man that gives you attention, because right now your focus needs to shift back onto you. I know people hate hearing that because loneliness does feel uncomfortable, but loneliness is often where identity gets rebuilt. Biblically, even Jesus withdrew into solitude repeatedly before major seasons of purpose. Isolation and intentional solitude are not punishments, it's preparation. Next step, I want you to create your future husband standard list. And no, not just physical traits. I don't care about his height. I don't care about abs. I don't care about aesthetics. What I want you to care about is his character, his integrity, his emotional safety, leadership, values, consistency, communication, discipline. What kind of man do you actually want? What's important to you? And if you struggle making this list, I've talked about this before, what kind of man would I want my future daughter to marry? What kind of man would I want my future son to become? That will tell you what matters to you. And once you make that list, congratulations, you just created your standard, which a lot of us are missing, right? Standards matter because it prevents, number one, desperation, but also prevents settling. It prevents entertaining people who are never aligned with your future to begin with. Because you're not bargain Becky, you're not discount Deborah, you're not on sale. You are valuable, and valuable things require intentional handling, right? Next step, grade yourself honestly on that list. This part is huge. Take those qualities that you have on your future husband list and rank yourself honestly 1 through 10 in those same areas. Because if you expect discipline, peace, communication, accountability, whatever from a future husband, you should also be willing to grow in these areas too. And if you struggle with being honest with yourself, because I get it, send the list to somebody you trust deeply. Your best friend, your mom, your auntie, whoever. But ask, hey, be honest, where do I genuinely need to grow? How would you rate me? Because growth requires for you to be self-aware. And psychologically, self-awareness is one of the strongest predictors of emotional intelligence and long-term emotional success. So I'm preparing you here. Next, I want you to choose one area to improve first. And this depends on your personality, because I know I got some type A girls here, challenge-driven. So then choose the one that you feel most resistance towards, because resistance often reveals the deepest growth that is needed there. So if you look at it and you're like, ugh, accountability or honesty or money, and you're like, I don't want to do it, that's the one you choose. Now, if you're not type A and you're actually the opposite, where it kind of takes you a little while to commit, I want you to I want you to choose the one that's the easiest for you to start. Because I just want you to start. I need you to follow through. I need you to get a win under your belt. So that way you can start to learn to trust yourself. Next step, taking care of your body. Please stop neglecting yourself. Food impacts mood, hormones, energy, mental health. Your body matters, and especially as a woman, we tend to take care of everybody before we take care of ourselves, because we're maternal, right? Children, your husband, work, family, responsibilities, everyone except you. And you can't continuously pour from an empty cup. Even Jesus rested. Rest and nourishment are biblical principles. So feed yourself better, hydrate, move your body, sleep, take care of your hormones, take care of your mind, because you are preparing for the life you say you want. You're preparing for the husband that you say you want. Next step, serve others. And if you have a faith, serve God. Because what do waiters do in a restaurant? They serve. So while you're in waiting, you need to serve. Volunteer, help people, serve at the church. If you don't have a faith, help family, cook for people, love them intentionally, get some groceries for somebody, because that combats loneliness. Neuroscience says acts of service increase dopamine, oxytocin, and serotonin, which helps combat loneliness, anxiety, depression. It helps shift the focus from what am I lacking, what about me, what can I do, until what can I give. It changes your entire mindset. Next step, learn how to enjoy your own company. I want you to date yourself. Seriously, after the week of doing these habits I'm talking about, if you follow through, go to the movies, go to a bookstore, take a walk, get flowers, take yourself to dinner, learn how to exist peacefully with yourself and reward yourself for following through. Because if you can't enjoy your own presence, loneliness can happen in a relationship, it can happen in marriage. And you don't want a relationship where it's like, I can't survive without you. You want a relationship where I want you, you compliment me, I compliment you. So the Singleness journey is not how do I finally get picked, it's how do I become the healthiest version of myself before I enter into another relationship. Because if you do not heal, you will repeat the same pain, just different face. And I truly believe if you want a high quality man, you need to be willing to become a high quality woman too. Because he deserves the best just as you do. Not perfect, not fake, not performative, but intentional. You're willing to grow, evolve, take accountability, willing to become peaceful, emotionally healthy, and self aware. And honestly, one of the things I deeply admire about my husband is he intentionally worked on himself before me. Because of that, he attracted me, a woman willing to grow too. And yes, I still had healing to do. I still had attachment issues. I still had emotional patterns that I'm still working through. But one thing about me, if I know something needs work, I will work on it because I refuse to stay stagnant. I refuse to let my husband down to to where he has a woman that isn't willing to work on herself or be better for the family. That's not me. So, run through the standard first. Genuinely align if that's what it is. Now, if you find someone before your commitment's done, I don't care. Finish, because follow through matters. And honestly, a healthy man will respect the boundary of you being on a singleness journey. You can literally say, I think you're amazing, but I'm intentionally focusing on myself now. I'm committed to finishing this season first. And if he's healthy, he's going to respect the hell out of you. He'll admire that because standards are attractive. Discipline's attractive. Self-respect is attractive. If he disappears because you wouldn't immediately abandon yourself for him, you saved yourself. That's exactly why intentional singleness matters. So, I hope this helps. Share with another woman you think this would help. And if you want, I can help you with this journey. I have one-on-ones where we can actually go over your situation, come up with the plan, and I can be your accountability partner so you're not settling but following through on yourself and finally rebuilding the trust that you've lost along the way. So, the links are down below. Like and follow for more and subscribe. Bye.